Listen, guys, the MMO genre, it's hard. The MMO genre has been bashed to death. The MMO genre has been claimed death many times. But here, guys, I bring you 8 things that I feel like could actually help MMOs, man. Let's go. The first thing that I want to talk about is immersion, of fucking course, man. You are playing an RPG game, you should be immersed in the fucking skin of your character. You should be like me, Santiago, I should be in the game, right? Just with powers and swords and orcs and a different race or whatever, a different name. Just my character should be me in some like regard. I should feel like I am on an immense virtual world where like there's things like in the real world, like inconvenience, time-consuming things, NPCs matter, so there's like persons. You know how you have NPCs in real life, guys. There's NPCs in everyone's life. They seem like they're useless in your life, but they have their own little life of their own, you know? So make NPCs feel like that. So if every NPC on an MMORPG would serve a purpose for the overall world, as little as it should be, that's amazing, and that helps immersion, man. That helps you as a gamer connect with the game and the game world right there. With inconvenience, and this may seem annoying, but just by planting inconveniences and time-consuming things like you have to go and meet your friend to invite him to a party, or you have to meet people in the dungeon, there's no teleporter, or things like that actually create necessities in the game world that can be fixed with things that the community makes or the same breathing world actually manages to solve. With that said, that goes straight into my second point, guys, which is the dependence on other players. So this is just a community building aspect that I really like. I'm putting emphasis on it. I'll give you an example. You, Dragon Slayer 69, are the most powerful orc and dragon slayer in the game world, right? But you need to keep constantly upgrading because the monsters keep getting tougher and tougher, right? You are gonna need food for buffs, you are gonna need armor, you're gonna need weapons, you're gonna need gems, you're gonna need enchantments. All of those things, you need other players to do them for you, right? You need, as a raider, because you need to focus on one thing in this game because it's time consuming, right? Like real life where you just fucking like focus on one thing or two, you know what I'm saying? With the specialization of one character, others shine, right? Because you can only specialize in one or two things. You need more things to make a complete life in the game, right? So you need food, you need equipment, etc. to kill the monsters or whatever, and vice versa. If you're a crafter and you want to craft the best weapons, you would, for example, need a dragon egg from the most powerful dragon in the game, and for that you'll need a gamer. So you need to create that dependence on other players to make a good MMO, not just make a single player game and have people around it, you know? On dependence on other players, I feel like life skills should be helping out different aspects of the game. So for example, a bard can sing a song in the city and buff other players that are gonna go raid or gonna go do dungeons or gonna go crafting, you know? Or for example, if I am like writing a book in the game and I post it and somebody reads it, they get a buff for, I don't know, 2 days of more wisdom. All of those things create this community and you create a dependence on other players because they're doing different things, different interests. One thing that it's not debated enough is the transportation in games. Most of the time you have some sort of teleportation, some sort of fast travel, but what if we created a profession, a player-driven profession that specializes in transportation on RPGs? So for example, they own magic carpets, griffins, aerial pirate ship, you know, different things that you can add to the game and you let your players play with it, you know, and charge a fee maybe. So that's how you could start creating a more living world. Again, we are repeating ourselves with the previous points, but it's all interconnected. You might hate me for this, right? But I do think there should be some exclusive content for the most hardcore players. By that I mean, and I take the example of Ashes of Creation, how they have flying mounts only for the lords and ladies of the realm. So you've earned your way into a rank or into a position of power. So if you've earned the access to some exclusive thing that will give you different benefits, of course not game breaking as in like not more power on PvP or more power on PvE. I'm just saying features only dedicated to the most hardcore players as a reward. So for example, in a city that you take in a PvP war, you can put taxes on the city. So every resource, every 10 wood that you gather, 2 is gonna get sent to the castle of the guild that took it, you know? Or for example, like Ashes of Creations, again, flying mounts are only for the royalty, so you need to be in the top 5% of the player base to get a flying mount. Other thing that could be done is, instead of making transportation as a profession, it's just make teleportation a benefit for the top 5%, you know? It's not game breaking, it's just a benefit, and it puts a goal for normal players like you and me to achieve, you know? It will give me, like, if I'm playing a thing where the 5% of the player base gets flying mounts, I'm gonna try to aim for that. I'm gonna want to be on that 5%. So that gives me a drive to keep playing and helps retention on games, you know, in the long term. It creates an end game. One thing that it's, oh my god, so important on MMOs and on RPGs specifically, it's the exploration and the lore incentivation. And what do I mean by that? For example, I strongly feel like every map on every RPG should have fog of war. There is no point on creating a massive world and letting all your players know everything about it, you know? With a big world, you want to hide treasures on it. You want to give players the sense of exploration every time they go past a mountain or under a cave or behind a lake. You, as a player, need to feel rewarded for exploring your game. Not saying any names, but flying mounts in that regard kill the game, kill the exploration aspect. Without the inconvenience of traveling an unknown world, you create a small game. You are shrinking your game. There should be secrets in your game world outside quest. Don't link everything to quest, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it. You need to put different things other than quests in your MMORPG. So for example, if I am questing killing orcs in the eastern part of the map, and then I see a different rock formation, I go there and I found a little secret passage that asks me for a password or makes a little puzzle with certain stones and then grants me access to this different dungeon with different monsters. Don't put that on quest. Don't make a quest lead you into that, because then it's no longer a secret, right? It's no longer an alternative way of your leveling progress or your exploration. It takes the rails of the game, you know? Other things that you should be putting is hidden lore. So I don't think that a game should tell you all its lore. I feel like players should go and find the lore, read the books available in the game, find secret places that contain hidden pieces of lore, just to make a bigger sense of wonder, you know? Kind of obvious aspect, but less obvious than you might think is the community building of the game. So there needs to be, first of all, a good moderation from the moderators, of course. You need to have certain rules and enforce them and try to make a healthy community, because as we know, MMOs tend to attract lots of toxic players. Well, I guess video games do that. Well. Events are super important outside the game, inside the game, in the forums, maybe contests, art competitions. You know, there's several things you can do to create a community, as well as communicating with your community. Communicate with your player base. I mean, come on, bro. You should know this. The players know what they want, even though you might not think like that. Variety is, oh my god, so important in these kinds of games, because MMOs tend to have a bigger longevity than normal RPGs or than normal games, so you tend to play them longer. When you play a game super long, you need a variety of things to do. You cannot be just raiding all the time or going to dungeons or fishing all the time. You need a variety of things. So there's, I don't know, fishing, poetry, dancing, killing monsters, trading, gathering, alchemy, experimenting with something, discovering, finding secrets, puzzles, jumping puzzles, minigames, I don't know, bro. Achievement huntings, man. Also, I feel like this variety should be rewarded in some way. Of course, not giving them the best things, but giving them some cosmetics, give them some recognition. This is a point that I wanna make some emphasis. I feel like players don't care about this as much as I. But the mystery in RPGs, especially on MMO RPGs, it's one of the biggest things that give you that sense of wonder. All right, story time. I remember playing Tibia about 15 years ago. Oh my god, I'm old. There was this sword in the Newbie Island called the Spike Sword, the Sword of Fury. It was at the edge of the map. You could see a little island containing the sword. There was no apparent way of going there. Everybody at high school was wondering, like, what the f is that sword? How do you get it? Maybe you go behind these minotaurs that we can never kill. Maybe you go into that hole that you got killed last time. Maybe you have to be gifted the sword by the GMs. There were so many f***ing rumors around that sword that made the game awesome. And once you went into the mainland and discovered, oh my god, all these secrets, it was just so fucking cool, man. It was just so cool playing those video games, not knowing what it was there, not having everything on a changelog. A good example for this is Mortal Kombat. So I was watching an interview and Mortal Kombat did the following. They added fatalities without telling anybody. So there's this little anecdote that one of the creators was telling, that they were on a showcase of the game, and then this one kid just was playing against a computer and he did the movement by accident and he made a fatality. I don't remember which one it is that does an uppercut and cuts the opponent's head, but the kid was just like, oh my god, look at what it did, and the thing was gone. And then the developer was standing right next to him and was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So that created a mythos around fatalities until, like, of course, they were discovered. That thing is so unique on video games. Video games don't do that anymore. Shadow of the Colossus, they do have oh so many secrets. It's such a mysterious game that people keep playing it. Even though it's not an MMO, it's a PlayStation game, dude. That's how you make a good video game, in my opinion, bro. GMs are something that got lost in time. I feel like GMs should be acting a little bit like Greek gods, or how the legend says Greek gods behaved, as in like making exchanges with mortals, communicating with the mortals, not only being there for the support of like unstocking people or, you know, they should be there adding things. They should be there helping keeping the mystery. This would help create a sense of, oh my god, what's gonna happen today? Every day, you know, because GMs are around and GMs can do things and maybe have a deal with the most powerful players. I don't know. Last but not least, oh my god, we need to have a clean business model, guys. Let me say this once, all right? No pay to win! If you're gonna have a subscription, it has to be mandatory, not an option, unless you're making a free trial without the subscription. Mandatory. Everybody should pay the same. Everybody should pay the same for your game. Make them be on even ground. That is one of the reasons I am so against free-to-play MMOs. It's not that I'm like completely against them, but I feel like free-to-play MMOs tend to be pay to win or pay to cosmetics, which is something that I'm kind of against. I don't want to dive deep into that, maybe for some other video. But yeah, free-to-play games are pay to win 99% of the time. And I'm saying that because I don't know every game in the market, so who knows? So guys, tell me down in the comments, what do you think it's super important to make an MMO be good? All right, guys, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I'll see you guys next time. You know what? It's not an MMO if you don't kill some wars. Kill. Fuck you. Oh my god, they were friends. They're friends. I didn't know pigs would actually like gang up on you. Did not think that was a thing.